Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. Alright, you know what? Yesterday, well, that was not a stellar day for cruise ships. The most important thing, though, is in both incidences, no guests or crew members were injured. We just have a little bit of damage to the cruise ships themselves. But let's go ahead and jump right in with these stories and get started. So before we get into the cruise ship incidences from yesterday, I do have a story I want to start with, and that is a Carnival Cruise Line story. So this is going to affect Charleston, South Carolina, and the fact that Carnival is going to stop sailing from Charleston, South Carolina in 2024. So currently the Carnival Sunshine does sailings from Charleston, South Carolina, and of course will continue to do so up to 2024, and at that time will be relocated. Now, to where she's going to go, nothing, of course, has been decided on that. They're going to have to get a little bit closer to 2024 before they know where that particular ship is going to go. Now, Carnival's contract there with the South Carolina Port Authority, as I said, it is scheduled to expire in 2024. And South Carolina has decided to not extend that contract in order to provide more space for the redevelopment of the Union Pier Terminal, while providing a transformational opportunity within the city of Charleston. Now, that doesn't mean that cruising is never going back to Charleston. It doesn't mean that Carnival is not going to go back there. It doesn't mean that another cruise line may not go back there at some point in time in the future. But this is just to let folks know that enjoy sailing out of Charleston that come 2024, at least for a period of time, no cruising is going to be available out of that port until either the city and the Port Authority finishes whatever project they are working on, and then possibly at that point in time they may again get into a cruising contract. Now we're going to jump over to Royal Caribbean and the first of our cruise ship incidences from yesterday. Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, while backing into Falmouth, Jamaica, well, they had a little strike there on the dock. Now again, no crew, no passengers injured whatsoever in this particular incident. As for Harmony of the Seas herself, she simply has some minor cosmetic damage to her stern. It is not going to affect the remainder of her sailings. She's going to go ahead and continue on as normal. Her back end's just going to be a little scratched up. And finally, the big story that broke yesterday, the Carnival Freedom, while in Grand Turks yesterday morning, well, one side of her funnel up there caught fire. And I did a video yesterday showing some pictures of when she was on fire. I'll go ahead and put a picture up here now. This is what it looks like after the fire was put out. Now, again, no crew, no passengers harmed or injured during this incident. All of the protocols went into place. The firefighting teams immediately went into action. They got the fire put out. But as you can see, the funnel has taken a decent amount of damage up there. Now, it is not affecting the hotel operations on board the cruise ship, meaning that the passengers, at least for today, are still on board the ship. The ship still has power, water, all of those kind of things, but the remainder of this sailing and upcoming sailings are going to be affected due to this damage. Now, Carnival has sent a letter out to guests on board the ship. I'm going to go ahead and put that letter up here for you now, and we will go over it. Carnival Freedom guest. As you know, earlier this morning, Carnival Freedom's emergency response team quickly extinguished a fire inside the ship's funnel. Our safety protocols worked as planned, and all safety systems and hotel services continued functioning normally. All guests and crew are safe. We have been in regular contact with our Fleet Operations Center in Miami, and all the appropriate authorities have been notified. Our technical team from Miami will be joining the ship later today to conduct a technical assessment and plan for the necessary repairs, which will be made at the shipyard in Grand Bahama. This means that Carnival Freedom will not be sailing back to Port Canaveral. In order to get you home as soon as possible, we have made arrangements to send Carnival Conquest to Grand Turk to sail back to Port Canaveral. Carnival Conquest, sister ship to Carnival Freedom, will arrive in Grand Turk on Saturday at 4 p.m. and will sail Saturday evening after embarkation has been completed. Carnival Conquest will arrive in Port Canaveral on Monday morning. We understand this extends the time you had planned to be away from home, and we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience this delay may cause. Of course, the extra days of cruise and gratuities are on us. Additionally, guests who had purchased Wi-Fi and beverage packages will have their packages extended on a complimentary basis. In addition, we will be posting a $100 per stateroom onboard credit, so you have some extra funds to spend over these next few days. Additionally, since we'd love nothing more than to welcome you back, you will receive a 50% future cruise credit. Any additional parking fees in the Port Canaveral parking garage will also be waived. In the event you incur any expenses associated with independent, non-refundable air expense charge fees, we will reimburse you up to $200 per person. Please submit supporting documents to this website listed here. Our team is working on comparable stateroom assignments and plans to transfer luggage and guests from the Carnival Freedom to the Carnival Conquest on Saturday, and we will share additional information on our plans as soon as everything is finalized. Despite the circumstances, our team will be working hard to ensure you enjoy extra days on board. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I look forward to seeing you around the ship. All right, so there it is in a nutshell. The Carnival Freedom, she's going to go over to the Grand Bahamas, and she's going to go in there for repairs. Now, while this email only pertains to those that are currently on board the ship, we know just from reading this that if the Freedom is going over to the Grand Bahamas for repairs, at least the next, possibly more cruises on board the Carnival Freedom are going to end up being canceled. Now, whether that means that they'll be canceled 100%, like the sailings won't happen, or whether Carnival is going to, let's say, be able to use the Conquest to fill in for the Freedom for, a cruise or two, Carnival has not yet said anything about future sailings aboard the Freedom. It's just a logical assumption that, hey, if she's going in for repairs, she's not available to sail. So the Conquest, of course, is going to go down to the Grand Turks. They're going to move the passengers from the Freedom over to the Conquest, and then the Conquest will take everybody back to Port Canaveral. But it is going to keep passengers out there for a couple extra days. They'll probably get to spend some of that extra time in the Grand Turks. And according to this, all systems on board the ship are functional. She just can't basically sail. She can't cruise. She can't continue on or take the passengers back to Port Canaveral. And instead, they're going to get moved to another ship. So at least everybody's going to get home. Everybody's getting a little bit of compensation, a 50% cruise credit, some onboard credit to spend while they're still on the ship. And yes, it can be an inconvenience if you're out longer than you're supposed to be when you plan to be home. It definitely can have some side effects. I completely get that. I completely understand that. And hopefully, though, for the majority, it's just a few extra days they can spend on a cruise ship enjoying themselves, a little bit of extra time in the Grand Turks to enjoy themselves. And, of course, the most important thing that for both the Carnival incident and for the Royal Caribbean incident is that no guests, no crew members were injured or hurt in either of these two cases. And at the end of the day, that is actually the most important thing. We can fix a ship. You can repair a ship. You can dry dock a ship. People, well, that's a whole other story. All right, and that's going to be our cruise news for today. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. Have yourself a great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.